One. What's up, Fed Nation? Welcome back to another Fed Chat. We are here today with a very special guest, episode 13. I'm going to let him just go right in and introduce himself. Take it away, sir.
Rich, thanks for having me, man. So great to connect with you and your radical community. I'm Jason Wange. I'm out here I live just outside of Boulder, Colorado. And I've been on the manufacturer rep side for 12 years. And actually, the timing's weird, but just left the company that I was a partner in after 8 years to transition to a new side of the business to the manufacturer side.
Wow. It's amazing.
I know.
So, yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to dive into a lot today. So if you're watching right now, I would grab a coffee or a water. We're gonna have a good chat here. So the first thing there you go. Got to stay hydrated through this pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. So let's dive into the first thing that I think is pretty exciting. You started a Facebook group as well, and it's the Food Service Power Plant Network, and it's motivate, educate, and the C word, community. So tell everybody maybe some reasoning behind why you started it and what's going on in that group right now.
Yeah, you got it. Well, about I don't know, maybe 5 weeks ago when all this started, I was jobless. I was officially on a vacation, which is lasting way longer than anticipated. And I saw people struggling. So I decided I've spent the last over a decade just learning positivity and positive psychology, mindset, all that kind of stuff. So I started doing videos to help keep people upbeat, give them tools, actual skills they could use to either keep their head above water or hopefully even just thrive and feel like they're crushing it in the midst of something that's, really challenging and uncomfortable. And it received some good response. And then I followed a few different people for a few years who talk about the power of community. And obviously you're someone who is a big believer in that. And you're creating community. And so we started the Food Service Power Plant Network the idea of a power plant is power plants take fuel and they turn that fuel into energy. They transform it, they generate it, they create it. And to teach people that everyone can be a power plant, you can generate your own energy. Sometimes we think the energy, the positivity needs to come from outside and then we just receive it by osmosis. Heck no, baby. Generate it in you and create it. And there's tools you can, and then it builds up and then you spread it out. So it's a community. I mean, community, we all do better in community. Every book I've studied on happiness, on success, talks about the power of people in our lives. And, from casual friends to people you can be very vulnerable with and you share a real intimate life with. So it's a way to keep people together. It's a way to give people tools that they can use in their lives to stay upbeat right now. We use a fair amount of laughter. There's a lot of banter back and forth amongst people, which is really fun. It's all good spirited banter. And to keep people laughing is one of the key elements of staying upbeat and positive. So yeah, that's the reason why.
Yeah, I love it. And Sam Service is another service company in Sefesa. Shout out to Nick and Jim. One of their core values is having joy in your work, and talking about smiling and laughter and all that stuff. If you're whatever industry you're in, for us, we're in the obviously food service, food equipment world and all that. And just having joy in your work on a daily basis can really, it's just, when you love what you do and you're uplifted, it filters out to everyone around you. Your customers feel it, your reps feel it, your vendors feel it, whoever you're working with feel it. And not only do you grow, but your business and the company can grow, coupled together.
There is someone said to me the other day, there's I think of a song and you've got lyrics in a song and then you've got the beat or you've got the rhythm. The lyrics are the conversations you have, what you do, that's your business. But the beat, the rhythm, which is oftentimes what either helps people fall in love with a song or not, that's the thing that translates. And joy, to your point, is the rhythm. That's the beat. It's not the lyrics to your song, but that's the spirit, that's the energy. And more often than not, that your customers will pick up on that than even the words you say or what you're doing for them tangibly.
Yeah, so true. And, with all this going on in the world, obviously we're all talking about, COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of people are sitting at home or without a job or working from home or whatever the case might be. We all have high stress levels right now for different reasons. But What's going on in your neck of the woods? So you're out in Colorado. Let's go back to this when this first started. When did things start to really happen for you out there in Boulder, in the Boulder area, and how have you been dealing with it?
Yeah, things started. Well, my last day, I judge, it's hard to remember the what days and weeks anymore, but my last day was March 20th. And things started getting heavy earlier that week for us. We stopped, it was my last week of work. And I was working from home. We were all started kind of working from home that week. Customers started shutting down and saying, don't come in. Well, the dealers we called on were like, don't come in. And then we were supposed to go on vacation the next week. We canceled that. And then restaurants obviously closed. And it's been a wild, I guess, probably 5 weeks since then. It's been restaurants out here. Everyone adopted varying degrees. Some people just totally closed down. There's some big time restaurant groups here that just shut their doors for the time being and said, we're not going to risk the safety of anyone. And we think that's wiser. I've got a fair amount of friends in that boat, a fair amount of friends who were their restaurant groups either furloughed partial people and then kept some people in for takeout, curbside, etc. We've watched incredible adaptation. Some friends, I've got a buddy that was a sous chef at the Hyatt Regency down here, second biggest hotel, I think, in Denver. And now he is working out of some guy, I think another rep's kitchen, and him and another buddy are cooking meals for people that they're selling. Part of the proceeds are going to places. We've got another woman here who's got, I don't totally understand what she does, her company, but she is taking people's merch, let's say merchandise from the restaurants. She's connecting, oh my gosh, how to say this? She's selling people's merch for 100%. They get 100% of the proceeds to them. She had a buddy who was having a baby in a hospital. And so he was buying meals for all the nurses and doctors in the hospital. So she was connecting him with local restaurants. So those restaurants could get a $500, $600, catering order. I mean, it's just been pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, in Jersey, a lot of places are closed too, and you see a lot of people stepping up to do some really beautiful things, and I think that's great to see because the media is always portraying all the bad in the world and how separated and divided we are, but man, we're not. We're just not, and there's so much kindness over here I'm seeing, and we're in Jersey, and everybody knows, Jersey, people think we're all rude over here, but there's a lot of kind people. And it's nice to see because I'm out in the supermarket and I'm seeing people just do all these beautiful things for each other.
I would totally agree. I think the kindness certainly overwhelms whatever senses of selfishness people can do or negativity. And while it's not always, sometimes you have to be more intentional to find the good. And because it's so easy to just naturally gravitate towards the negative. I mean, that's what, breaking news is what everybody's favorite thing. That's what sucks you in, the news. But you got to be more intentional, but you can find it. And, that which we don't watch the news here in our house. Now, part of that's because we've got young kids and we really don't, they can ruminate and hear something negative and it can get them spinning and it can get us spinning. So we'll pay attention and I'll listen to certain things. And if there's an announcement or I'll be on a couple of websites to make sure I'm educated, but yeah, we don't turn it on here. You got to be intentional.
I'm in the same boat. I'm not a news guy. I pay attention. I get my updates right here on the phone. I pay attention to what's going on, but I'm not heavily involved because it's too much. I'd rather just focus on some of the stuff we got going on here and the good stuff.
Yeah, brother.
But yeah, I mean, so COVID-19, obviously, the world has changed. We talk about the world has changed and we're all coping. So I don't know if you have any thoughts or ideas or insight on what post COVID-19 is going to look like and how fast do you think we're going to get back to working?
Oh man. I am not a great predictor of I don't know that I'm the most educated on that. My gut is just my gut. I hope we're back working soon. I heard California is going to start opening up and easing restrictions. Here in Colorado, I think it's on Monday, we're going to actually ease restrictions a teeny bit. We've been at stay at home. So go to the grocery store once a week, wear mask, or, whatever, all that kind of stuff. We are going to safer at home. And so we can, I don't even know all the details yet, but so we're going to start paring back. I know different places are paring back. Hopefully that gets more people feeling comfortable to go get takeout food, etc. Hopefully that gets a few more cooks in the kitchen or whatever that is, or a few more delivery drivers. And Colorado, at least, I believe that the date is now, the mayor said May 15th, that we're planning to start gradually opening restaurants for people to go in. So, I'm hopeful that picks up then. I mean, they've even said it's not going to be a rocket ship out here. They're not going to just unleash the world back into the restaurants, because they need to take it in stages. They need to phase it in. So we'll see, but I sure hope sooner rather than later. We want all our hotel friends, in my world, it's the convention centers and the sporting arenas and the restaurants and the B&I and the hotels. We just want all those people cooking again and serving food, and so hopefully soon.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, here in New Jersey, of course, I've been saying how the numbers are just much different here in New York and New Jersey. So it's been a little tough to do anything. Honestly, we're not allowed to walk into a place without a mask or gloves. You have to have these things on, or they won't let you in the store. Parks are closed, beaches are closed. Everything you could think of around here is closed. You see, here in my city, my little town here, you see places boarded up. There are still lots of places doing takeout and delivery, but a lot of places just shut down. For us as a service company, I'd mentioned so many times, we can't get into hospitals that we service don't want us in there. They're limiting people in their kitchens. A lot of restaurants, they said, no, we're limping by. We're going to get by. So we're really only servicing supermarkets and C-stores right now. But I'm hoping that some point in mid-May here, we might start to see a little bit of a shift, and maybe we can get back to some semblance of what work is. Maybe bring some technicians back and start opening things little by little. But I'm not seeing anything really full-fledged until I'm thinking July for us here.
July.
That's what I'm predicting, July for New Jersey. Yeah.
Is there, have your people, obviously we're all, every company that I know, every manufacturer is having challenges or furloughs or whatever. And do most of your people, if that's the case, most of your team members, is there a sense that, okay, we can figure it out until July and get by and everything?
Yeah. So when this happened, I mean, we had basically furloughed the company almost 5 weeks ago at this point.
Yep.
So most everyone has already, I think everybody has received their unemployment from the state. Cool. So they're getting that. They're going to they got their stimulus check. And then, of course, the company is still here. We're still here. So I call every employee individually every Friday, which I'll do today, and just remind them that if you need groceries or if you need a bill paid that someone's hounding you, I don't want the lights to go out. I don't want your rent to not be paid. I have company credit cards. We'll get you one. We'll get you paid. We'll get you groceries. So that stress level, I think, is relieved from that sense, and just staying in touch with them. I also put out a weekly Wednesday letter updating them on what I've been up to and what I'm doing here, so they know when we come back. I want everyone to be of the understanding we're going to hit the ground running hard. So kind of use this time to rest, because what's coming is going to be real busy. So everyone's kind of at ease, I think, with that. They're just. I think everyone's just more worried about the actual pandemonium that's happening.
Yeah. Oh, Rich, man, I love what you're doing for your team. Your heart shines through in how you care for the people that work with you. I love it. That's
my reason for being. Like I love to help people. I know it might sound corny or cliche, or people say it all the time, but the people closest to me know it. I get a high off helping people, and this business. My father would say our business is a gift, and we get to use that gift to help people in various ways. And in times like this, we're lucky to be able to do that. So it's been tough, but it's also been good. I kind of fast forwarded, but I wanted to get back to you, and you were a history teacher.
Yeah, correct.
So let's go back to the history teacher, because I often talk about this industry. You either fall into it because of family. There's not a lot of ways to get into this industry. So you started out as a history teacher. Let's go back to young Jason and to the younger Jason, and how'd that all come about, and then find your way into this industry?
Yeah, I was a history major in school. I wanted to be a teacher. I had a fair amount of family members who were teachers, and my dad had always been a rep. And for whatever reason, I grew up polishing flatware and like cleaning off, Charleston refrigerators in his test kitchen. That was like, me, and cleaning out the warehouse and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I grew up actually with my mom in Philly. My dad had a rep firm out here in Colorado. So it was really in summers that I hung out with him. and became a teacher for 8 years. I taught high school social studies. I taught at-risk middle school with kids who were just struggling. That was unbelievable, powerful. And then I ended up teaching teachers. My last job within the school system was I was what's called an instructional coach. So I worked with different teachers in the district and just helped them improve their skills or their, whatever it was, their teaching skills or connection to students. And then one night I was driving home and my wife was out somewhere. I happened to call my dad on the ride home and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just heading home." And Shannon wasn't home, my wife. So he's like, "Hey, why don't you come have a steak? I'm having a steak with some factory guys in Denver." And I'm like, "Steak?" I'm a teacher. My wife was like in ministry. It's like steaks weren't a part of our world. I'm like, "Yes, sir." So we go, we have a steak. And I'm with all these people and I kind of looked around the table and all great people. And I'm like, wait a minute, I had this perception of what your industry was. And, you've got to have a business degree or you've got all this kind of stuff. And these were all just normal humans. And so I left. I called him on the way home. I'm like, "Dad, I think I could maybe do what you guys do or maybe try it." And at that point, I'd had enough tenure as a teacher where I could take leave for a year without losing my job. So I told, I took leave for 1 year. I said, "I'm going to try being a rep." And I just never went back. And that was 12 years ago this June.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
And that company is Desert Peak?
Well, yeah, that company was Wange and Associates. And then 8 years ago, we merged it. He left. We got my old man out. And I merged it with another company. Bobby Moshe and Armando Suarez were my partners. They were at Arizona. So we joined the companies, became Desert Peak. So it will have been 8 or 9 years this summer. And it's been great. I mean, we started with 5 people and shot up to 16 and expanded our territory. And it was great. It was a lot of work. But
what are some of the lines you repped out there?
We've got both. We always tried to be about as much as we could, half and half equipment, heavy equipment, and then tabletop supplies. So on the equipment side, lines like, BSI and Myco and Winston and Heston and, a little bit more higher end lines, not your everyday buying group lines.
Sure.
And then on the tabletop side, lines like Cardinal and Cardinal Glass and ITI and Churchill, things like that. And then we've had Rubbermaid back in the day when they had reps. We had it's a constant carousel of lines. And now they're trying to figure it out and keep it going digitally and, in this new world.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's going to be a wild new world, with all the sanitizers and sanitization and all these sneeze guards, the countertop sneeze guards popping up everywhere, and hand washing state, all these different things I'm watching. And that's some of the things I'm trying to implement into the company here as we go forward. But I'll tell you, being a rep, obviously you guys are part of Mopsy.
Yep.
So were you guys, when did you join Mopsy? Was that right away?
We've always been in Mopsy. There was always value for us and what they were putting out. Mopsy was they were leading the way. They were the guidance on when you're stuck or you have a challenge. And then I joined the board 4 years ago, which has been really it's been one of the most fun parts of my career. We get together with awesome reps all around the country. And I have found Mopsy is a true leader in terms of navigating the changes of the industry and the things they're doing and the ways they're trying to help connect and be a part of, whether it's the 5 families. I know that you're a part of that, and connecting all the different groups and associations. They're doing so much to help reps, manufacturers, everybody evolve as we sort of watch the industry evolve, but we don't really know who's leading it or what to do about it. It's like, okay, it's changed. How do we adapt to make it work?
Yeah. And so many people tell me how it's been an eye opener and game changing and inspiring just being on a board at one of these associations. I really haven't been on the board. I've been part of committees on CFESA, but I think the next step for me is going to be on a board. Is there anything that, for the person watching here that might be a rep, why should they even be on the board? Do you have any insight as to why you think they should? Maybe give them the confidence to do it?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, number one, it's like you see behind the curtains. I mean, I knew Mopsy was I mean, we'd always used them. So it was a tool that we were a part of, but I never knew just how much they were doing. I had no idea. There is so much brain power and time and commitment happening by all these people to make sure things are going. And it's like, I don't know the best definition of it, but there's this board that has your back, manufacturers, reps, and you don't even know it. And to see that was really fun. And then to be on the board, there are challenges that you will get that will get thrown at you on the board that you don't think you can solve, and that people have been telling you can't solve. And then an idea comes aboard and someone says, okay, how are we going to fix this? And guess what? We almost always find a way. You pull a rabbit out of a hat. There's an idea that comes at 2 a.m, whatever that is, and a light bulb clicks and we find a way to pivot and make it happen. So to some degree, things you don't think are possible end up becoming possible when you're in a situation that demands it of you. And when you end up on a board, it now is demanded of you. And so it's, so many great reasons to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think, and then that's a great point too. And it kind of, leads me into some of the next things I think we'll talk about. When you put yourself out there and you're a part of something now that demands it of you, talking about for Fed Nation, we talk about digital disruption and putting out video content or written form or whatever you feel most comfortable with. You started your journey now when this all really started, and you're 20 something videos in, 25 or right. I mean, you're doing almost a video a day.
Yeah, we've done 27 videos so far.
That's amazing. And you know what? You start when you do that. I know for myself, especially last year when I said I'm going to do a video a day. You put that demand on yourself. You have to hold yourself accountable. And when you start doing it, not only is it fun, you're gonna have fun doing it because it is fun, and you're talking about things that you're passionate about and you care about. Yeah. So, for Fed Nation, I know there's a lot of people still struggling with starting. Let's talk about what finally pushed you over the edge and said, you know what? And I know maybe COVID-19. We talked about this briefly, sitting here and saying to yourself, it's time, but. Let's give Fed Nation that push that they need.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. First, what I would tell you is you need to know very little. I had never ever in my life, Rich, produced a video, and my motivation was similar to yours. Mine was I had been in a tough period of life for a long time. Yeah. I had to learn tools. For me, simply to survive. This is way pre-COVID. Yeah. And you see a need, which is people who don't maybe have these tools, need some tools to be lifted up. And so I thought, okay, here we go. And let's offer something, and maybe it helps keep people up. You never know who it helps or how down someone is, and if they're using these and it's making them smile to some degree. So literally I'd never done it. I didn't even know what app to use on my computer. By the way, I found Photo Booth. That's how I do them on the Mac. I just found Photo and the first time I tried to record something, took a picture and I was like, oh, that's not the right button. So then I found another button to record, and then I've just started learning. I've reached out to you. You've given me advice. I follow different people on social media. And then I do a heck of a lot of research on different tools and should I wear the AirPods or not? Should I do what kind of lighting? I bought one of those ring lights because the light changes in my office throughout the day. So I'm trying to get a little more consistent. And you really have to know so little to put something out to help people. And I mean, people like you were the one that inspired me. Side note, you put a post up. It must have been the day before I started, or maybe even the day of. And you said, I don't remember everything. You said, if you do not already, you need a YouTube channel and something now.
Probably LinkedIn, yeah.
Probably LinkedIn. And I read that and I just thought, okay, Rich is telling me, so let's go. And I either did my first video that night or the next day. So
that's simple.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Yeah. And don't, people get caught up in the production value, right? What am I gonna, where am I gonna sit? What camera am I gonna get? Listen, you have a phone, you have your message, and you probably have a home office or wherever, even the couch. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's about the message. And I'll tell you, if people are out there and you're saying, I don't know how to start. Listen, it's not about the production value. It's about you and the message. That's what it's all about. Everything else will come. You know, you'll eventually invest in a better camera and the better lighting and the better audio and the better, Adobe Premieres. You'll get to all of that. Just start though. Just do it. That's what you did.
Absolutely agree. It's it doesn't. There's nothing that has to be polished other than the genuineness of which you come across to everybody. It's that sense that you care, I think, and that you're willing to hang in this with people. You've been consistent. You demonstrate all the time that you care, Rich. I mean, people know you for that at this point. And you're doing films all over the place, you know, whether it's karaoke in your living room or, you know, it's showing like some pasta meal, you know, whatever. It looked like there was sausage in that one. I love, I don't know, but it's, I think it's more about just showing up and the spirit and being genuine.
That is the truth. And I looked at your last post today, and we're talking about keeping your dreams, right? And you say here, often in times of challenge, our dreams are the first thing we lay aside. And, you know, isn't that the truth? You know, we sit here and we're saying to ourselves in these times, I really wanted to do this and this, but forget that. Forget it. I'm done with it. I'm just going to do this and, you know, muddle my way through. And if I get back to it, fine. Let's talk about keeping your dreams during this time.
Some of my dreams, he said?
Oh, no, let's talk about for Fed Nation, even reminders for ourselves. Why do we need to keep our dreams right now?
Oh my gosh. I am, great question. One, because of all the, I read a lot of success books, or, you know, it came from Jack Canfield taught me this, guys like Brendan Burchard. He wrote a book called High Performance Habits. And he said, the number one thing about high performers is people that keep excelling. They have a future vision of themselves in their minds, and one that's better, one that feels more fulfilling or more connected or whatever. And they're always doing something little every day to work towards it. Having a dream is like, if there's a day, if right now people are feeling down and they're struggling to get energy, it's the dream that gives you that hope, that gives you that little bit of energy today to keep cranking. That it's when someone plans a vacation, right? They tell a story in their mind, where they want to be, what do they want to feel like when they're on vacation. And that vacation keeps them going. You know, oftentimes it makes you work harder. You want to get an extra $100 to do whatever. I don't know. Sure. And it's that dream that gives you energy now. And dreams are the most intimate and passionate thing any individual has. The cool thing is there's no dream that's the same. They're all different. And it will be the one thing to keep you going when all else seems to fail. If there's a relationship that fails and you're struggling to, you know, you were used to feeding off that, then okay, that's gone. You'll find a new one. It's great, but keep the dream. That's one thing no one can ever, ever, ever take from you. And it's free. You don't have to pay for a dream. It's not like a subscription to a positive, whatever it is. It's free. And, you know, as Wesley Clark, I would tell people, make sure your dreams are big. Go frigging big. I think it was Wesley Clark that said, it takes no more energy to dream a big dream than a small dream. And so dream big. Let that be the thing that helps get you up in the morning, gives you something fun to do every day. Because when you're accomplishing a dream, that's something that's fun. It's something that lifts you up. It's like inherent, a cup of coffee. I don't know. So you gotta keep dreaming and do one little thing every day to get you one step closer to that dream.
Yeah. I love the looking towards the future of success and seeing yourself there. You know, I sit here sometimes and I do picture myself. I see myself, and I would, you know, joke with Angel here at different times and saying, man, I could see us having a floor under Gary V in Hudson Yards, looking out onto the Hudson River, just like looking out the window, like, we did it. You know, I could see myself there, and I envision it. And you know, I have no doubt that we're going to get to these high levels here with digital and the Fed group and all these different things. And like you said, in the vacation, you know, when we book that vacation, don't we not picture ourselves on that beach? Don't we not picture ourselves jet skiing or whatever it might be, wherever we might be going? We see ourselves there, and that's what it takes. You have to visualize. You have to see it, and not give up. Continue. This, like I said, the smallest little, even if we're moving a centimeter a day towards it. And if you really believe in the dream and you love it, the process and that journey, man, is so friggin' fun. I'm having a blast right now doing all this stuff.
Isn't it incredible, Rich, that it's in some ways, this is too vulnerable. In some ways, it feels a little bit guilty for me because it's a really tough time, a
Yeah.
tougher time than many people have maybe ever experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And people like you, and I will tell you that being able to offer this sense of life to people has been a blast for me too. In some ways, I feel a little guilty that it's so hard out there, and I am feeling so energized and having fun with it too. But I'm not gonna, I'm not owning that guilt. I mean, there's a little part of me, but it's walking away from that. The heck with you. But if everyone could find a way, think about it. If everyone could find a way to be having fun and happy in the midst of what's going on, what a gift for the world.
It is.
So I love that.
It is. And, talking about, and also talking with you about, and seeing what you're doing with the power of story, right? We often talk about humanizing the brand today. You see a lot of the greats doing it. Gary Vee talks about it all the time. Carlos Gill, who was down at the FEDD conference, has a book called The End of Marketing. And he talks about humanizing your brand in there. People don't want to be sold to. People want human connection. They want the brand that you're building today. That's why it's so important. And that's why I posted so much over the last several weeks about now more than ever, putting your guard down and stop selling people. People, especially today, nobody wants to. I don't want to be scrolling through a screen and seeing, XYZ model 50% off. Like, show me, like, you could do that, but maybe put it behind something more human at the end. And by the way, we also have these great units right here that are going to be, especially in the new world, whatever it might be. But power of story, Jason. I know that you're telling a lot of stories these days on those videos, and they pull you in, and you're actually very good at it. And I'm telling you right now, I know you're just beginning, but you're very good at it. And you have a calmness about you when you talk. So I think it puts people, you get drawn in, and that is powerful. So you need to continue to do that. That's my encouragement to you, to continue to do that, because it's working. And the more you do it, you're going to see different opportunities begin to happen. And that's another part of this. Opportunities arise from telling your story, because people are going to connect with Jason. People are going to connect with Rich. People are going to connect with whoever it is out there. And you're not even talking about your business one iota. But what's going to happen is it's going to filter in and say, hey, Rich, listen, I know you service XYZ. I got 10 locations over in Jersey. Can you take a look? We said, and that's just how it works. So the power of story. Tell Fed Nation, get these people out here telling their story.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's story is the great motivator, maybe greater than any tool that exists. It's been used for hundreds of, 100,000 years. People have conveying culture. That's how they did it. They didn't teach a lesson. They didn't give, they told stories. And think about it. If you're down or your team's down, go find a movie that inspires. Movies inspire. That's why America spent $10 billion at the movies last year. Yeah. And and part of the reason is because oftentimes in ourselves, it can be hard to believe what's possible in us.
True.
And, there was a time in my life where, I don't know, did you ask me to tell my story? I didn't hear you totally.
You can tell your story, but I was just, please.
Yeah,
please do.
Power of story. There was a time in my life where there was significant struggle. I went through my 20s, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. I was on a crap ton of different meds just to help me survive, frankly. Yeah. And times where it was, really, really bleak, where I wondered if I was just going to call it a day. Or call it a life, if you will. Yeah. And
that's heavy.
And it was story that it was watching other people who'd gone through something similar, who frigging found a way to get through, and not just get through, but they found a way to open up. They found a way to be happy. They found a way to connect with others. They found a way to thrive and smile again after the darkness that they'd experienced. And it was those people and those stories that kept me taking one more step, just one. And there were days where I didn't feel like I could take any step. There were years where it felt like that. And they caused me to believe that what I wanted, the dream I had in my head about what a beautiful life looked like, that it was actually possible. And it allowed me to feel something that I couldn't feel on my own in the minute, but that dream allowed me to feel something, an emotion, a hope, a vision that kept me going. And so, story helps us believe that something's possible that we wouldn't think on our own. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is the power of it, and then it could get heavy when you tell your story and you tell your real truths and you get vulnerable. You know, people respect that. People love that. When you wear your heart on your sleeve. I try to come as authentic and genuine as I can. I always tell people I'm pretty much an open book for the most part. And one day, I have stuff that I haven't told about me and my dad growing up that one day I might write a book about, and do like a tell-all because I'm thinking to myself, there's another guy that's going to be 19 years old that might get that book. That's a family business.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not so unique. I'm sure there's a lot of people that go through a lot of these same things with their dad or maybe their mom or whatever it might be in that family business dynamic. And, speaking about that, is going to connect me with more people. And that's the same thing with you. And, because people often say, Rich, you're having fun making videos. What's the bottom line? You're not making any money. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm not making any money right now, but there is a plan. I'm not just doing this haphazardly. There is a vision. There is a plan, and I'm going to get there. I just know that it's not going to happen in 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years. Playing the long game. So, ladies and gentlemen, play the long game. Tell your story. Be vulnerable, and you watch the opportunities and things that happen.
I would agree. People can smell a mile away if you're being fake or if you're not sincere. And, right now, vulnerable is not in a totally inappropriate way, but, being vulnerable and genuine about things you've experienced and gone through that others can relate to, that there's a need to hear, is the great connector and unifier right now. And, and part of that's because it's so hard. Many people are just so used to putting on a face, whether that's a happy face or their business, they dress up in the morning, whatever they do. And that's how they present themselves. And it's the breaking down of those walls that creates that connection, that intimacy. And so I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, man. It's, and just, all the stuff that is going on today. I've been talking with everyone about this. We all have a different story, like I said, one day we're all going to be talking about where we were and what we did for the pandemic and for COVID-19 and 9/11. Do you have a story or at least know where were you? What were you doing on 9/11? Because again, tragedy, we're talking tragedy, and that was a big one for us. Where were you?
Yeah, I remember exactly where I was. I was a teacher at Boulder High School. I was a history teacher. Okay. And I was sitting in the parking lot pulling in that morning, listening to the radio when I started hearing about it, and just listening, went in, and it was just, the life had been sucked out of the building, and everyone's trying to figure out, do we even teach today? It really, for a couple of days, it really ended up being, there were people watching television screens all throughout the building. Yeah. And you really stopped teaching on those days. It became about listening to students. It became about talking, and yeah, so it was, that's how I was spending my days with high schoolers, trying to help them process.
Yeah. Just a significant time in the history books, I'm sure now already.
Oh gosh.
And this is going to be in the history books. And, I think, we're still living through the greatest era known to man, if you ask me. And, technology has been able to keep us connected. We would never have been able to do this. I don't know, 10 years ago, would we have been able to do this? I don't know.
I don't know either. I would doubt it, but I'm epically grateful for the chance that we get to do, that you and I've had to connect and do things like this and try to care for people via a digital platform. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And, before we end this chat, I just want you to be able to push more people into your group. So one more time, we got the Food Service Power Plant Network over on Facebook. I will put a link to that up here so everyone can click on that and go join. Great. And get ready to tell your favorite movie. What's your or movie when what? So yours is Dumb and Dumber.
So my humor movie, like when I just want to laugh my tail off, it's Dumb and Dumber. My all-time favorite Believe It's Possible movie, just pump me up, lift me up, is Braveheart. It's not
Okay.
even
Wow.
close.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that movie in a while. That's
I,
a great
I
movie.
love, oh man, I watched it again a few months ago, and there's something about it that just every time it moves me
I gotta.
to believe in the impossible. So,
I'm gonna rewatch that. I haven't watched that in a long time. I'm gonna rewatch that.
what are
Um,
yours, by the way? What's your favorite funny or inspirational movie?
so I mean, I love Dumb and Dumber, and I grew up early on with Adam Sandler when he did Billy Madison's and Happy Gilmore's. So love all those and Tommy Boy. Richard.
What kind of hotel is this?
Are you watching the Yankees? Uh, is that Alfalfa down there, or is it Spanky? Yeah.
Oh my God. I know.
Those are always classic go-tos for me. Inspirational. Not that I watched this over and over again, but I watched the Steve Jobs one. I love watching stuff like that.
Well,
Trying to think off the top of my head. I can't think right now. I actually I like chick flicks too. Don't tell anybody.
no, your secret's safe here, man. You're good. You're good. What's like your favorite chick movie? Like a love movie, emotion movie?
I got to tell you, I like The Notebook.
Is that with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
All right, man. I saw that whenever it came out, and I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, and Rachel McAdams, who is just beautiful. I love her.
Oh, cool. All right, I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna make a note. I'm going back to watch it.
Yeah, and I don't cry when I watch that. All right, I don't cry.
No.
I'm not crying.
Hey, are you a crier, by the way?
I'm a big crier. I swear to God.
So I am a huge crier, and my family kind of jokes about it. But even I used to in my 20s when life was hard, there was a lot of tears around hard, and then it transitioned to joy and to those happiness moments. Like my wife realized just how deep it went one night. We were watching Parks and Recreation. Remember that show?
Yeah.
And Leslie Knope was elected to city council, and I'm on the couch and tears start falling for Parks and Recreation. And she's like, "Oh my God, who are you?"
Yeah.
It's
I relate. Because you know what, I cry watching Shark Tank. Because when these people tell their stories and they're getting their deals and they're talking about how much they love what they're doing and their family, I'm sitting there, I'm going out.
love it.
It hits me all these shows. I cry. I got emotional watching that ET commercial. I think it was during the Super Bowl.
I don't remember it.
It was ET came back. It was the real character, the real boy from the actual movie who's grown up with his own kids now. And I think it was a Comcast commercial or something about Wi-Fi and technology. And ET came back, and he went and found him. And now he's like, these are my kids, and he was hanging out with the kids now. And
love it, man. My go-tos, and I mean, I do this almost every single day. I will tell you this. I love the America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent shows. Yes. And I just like the first audition. I don't keep going, but I love the first one where not a nobody, but you don't know, and whoever, they show up and they don't expect much of themselves. No one in the audience expects much. And then they just blow the roof off, and they come out with this gift that is unbelievable. And I will watch some of those literally 20 times. And they just cause me, I will just sit here and bawl.
Me too.
It puts me in, like you said. I love it. Dude, Rich, maybe we're related, and we just, I mean, I don't know. We could do testing or something, but we might be related.
Cousins or something. Yeah, I mean.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. And I tell you, I watch, same thing. I don't watch all the way through. I like watching The Voice, the auditions. I like watching American Idol, the auditions. And I get emotional watching that stuff too, because you see someone going after their dream, right? And they're so close, and they're getting through, and it just hits you, and you feel happy for them.
Heck yeah, baby. And here's the deal. I wrote a blog post about this years ago. You probably have to go. You're probably killing me, but
no, you're good.
Okay, all right. Here's my belief. Every single human on the planet, every single person watching this has something in them that if they were to offer the world would get them a standing ovation. Every single human, there's something in you, whatever it is, it doesn't need to be a business, whatever that is, the gift of compassion or the gift of empathy or I don't care what it is. There's something in you brilliant, so beautiful that if you were to offer it to the world, everyone would stand up and would have just their natural instinct would be to give you a standing ovation and start crying and that's, I think, my hope, one of my hopes for everybody, that everyone gets to explore what is it in me that I have to offer, not only to myself too, that makes the world a better place and everyone would just celebrate.
Yeah, no, it's, I think that's super true, not to get all, again, corny or emotional or any of that stuff, but, and that's the power of that we have today on these platforms to be able to do that, and the stuff that we're saying is going to connect with you, we're connecting right now. This is powerful, and the encouragement for Fed Nation is to do more of this, however you see fit, because, the kindness and the compassion and the different things that we all have inside us, these are the human connectors. We're not all that different. We all cry, we all laugh, we all mourn, we all go through all these different periods, and we're all connected on some level. So I agree with you 100% on that. And I'll filter this into how we end this. The last encouraging words for Fed Nation as we go off into the weekend.
For Fed Nation, encouraging words. For weekends in particular, do things to take care of yourself. Sometimes weekends, if people are struggling, are harder than weekdays.
Yeah.
Because in a weekday, there's a schedule, there's a bit more of a rhythm, and whatever that is, and schedules and rhythms kind of break down on weekends. And even if, people who are still out there working, God bless it, on the weekdays, they've got that connection, whether they love it or not, it's other people. And weekends, especially if like you're living at home or whatever that is, or like alone, and it can be harder. So be more intentional to create. Creation is a great way to get out of your own head and build something, dream something, find that dream, that thing that inspires those tears in you, that hope, that joy. Take one little step towards working towards it. Be intentional about reaching out to someone who you love or who loves you, to make that connection, to just have another human. And Rich, I just want to thank you, man. This talk has lifted me up. Your motivation lifted me up to start doing videos and get to care for people in a new way I never would have done without your posts. And you are changing lives, my friend. And you and your Fed group, there's no question. You're not just teaching people how to go digital, you're changing lives. So thanks for doing that in mine and everyone you're doing it with.
I appreciate that. That's big. I appreciate you saying something like that. Wow. But I enjoy this conversation too. And thank you for taking the time to do it. We're going to do it again. This is only the first one.
Love it, man. And then I'm learning how right now, like this morning, I'm researching how you do interviews and all this kind of stuff. So, and then I'll have you on and we'll do one as well. And man, I'm so grateful for you. So glad to know you. And thanks for letting me join you.
Likewise. And Fed Nation, we're going to end it here. Episode 13 with Jason Wange. Wange?
Wange, yep.
Wange, with Jason Wange. I want to make sure I didn't say it right. And lastly, we're gonna go to the Food Service Power Plant Network with links above. So Fed Nation, have a beautiful, blessed weekend. Keep your head up. Better times are coming, and we'll see you on the next one.